WOCA, The Source.
Look around that yard. You could probably use a tree or two, couldn't you? That means a trip to everyone's favorite tree place, Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens in Ocala. This week at Bob Wine's, you get 1/3 to 2/3 off any tree in stock. And that includes a huge selection too long to list here. This is the real deal on trees at Bob Wine's. Suppose you need some color for your yard. The answer again, Bob Wine's for hydrangea, more than you can imagine in one place. And of course, those gorgeously blooming azaleas, including the area's largest selection of encore azaleas. They keep blooming all year round. Hanging baskets large and small, buy one for $14.99, get a second one for half price. Spring veggies unbelievably priced at just 99 cents in the 4-pack. The place, Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens, Southeast 38th Street, Ocala, just east of Lake Weir Avenue, daily till 4:30, Saturday till 3 in the same blooming place since 1952.
This is James Snyder, inviting you to join me each Sunday morning at 9:30 for Sunday Joy on 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Five minutes before 9 o'clock, it's time for News Bites. Before Robin and I start to read the news, because we were kind of talking and not taking breaks earlier, I need to squeeze in a commercial, a live read commercial, and it's for our good friends right here at the Paddock Mall over at Sears. And it's in a way, it's kind of appropriate. They are showing their appreciation for our military, our veterans, and our first responders. If you can relate to all of those, any of those things, highway patrol, police officer, sheriff's officer, firefighter, if you're in the military, if you're a veteran, anyway, just bring your ID today and tomorrow to Sears here at the Paddock Mall, and they've got some really good deals for you. I won't take a long time to do this, but there's a 40% off sale just for you guys and gals. 40% off jewelry, 40% off watches. If you find something on sale, let's say it's 50% off, take another 10% off jewelry and watches. They're offering 20% off of some work boots, pretty much all the work boots except for the Timberland ones. What else do they have? They have a lot of clearance items, a lot of good deals over there. I'm going to take a walk through there later on, but it's today and tomorrow only, and it's at the Sears at the Paddock Mall only. In addition to jewelry and work boots, there's also, tools. Tools. 40% off regular price tools merchandise. So that's today and tomorrow only at the Sears at the Paddock Mall. And while you're in there, by the way, make sure you mention to the folks that you're working with that you heard about it on AM Ocala Live, on WOCA, whatever you want to say. Just say the radio station here in the mall. They'll know who we are. It helps us a little bit. And by the way, for the rest of us, just one more thing on this ad. There are sales for everybody throughout the store, but those specific items, the jewelry, the work boots, the tools, did I leave anything out? That if you're a military or a veteran or first responder, you get some special deals today and tomorrow.
Yes, you do.
All right, let me start with this story that I wish I didn't have to read. I think I got this one from the Florida News Network. The Gilchrist County Sheriff's Office has issued a news release in the aftermath of the killing of 2 of their deputies yesterday. In the release, Sheriff Bobby Schultz confirms that Sergeant Noel Ramirez and Deputy Sheriff Taylor Lindsay were both shot to death inside the Ace China restaurant in Trenton at around 3 p.m. yesterday. The Marion County Sheriff's Office, along with the sheriff's offices and police departments from across Central Florida, have offered support to Gilchrist County, which only employs 27 deputy sheriffs. The 2 deputy sheriffs that were killed in Gilchrist County are 29-year-old Sergeant Ramirez, who leaves behind his wife and 2 young children. He was a law enforcement officer for over 7 years with the Levy County Sheriff's Office before joining the Gilchrist County Sheriff's Office 2 years ago. Deputy Lindsay, who is 25 years old, served for over 3 years with the Gilchrist County Sheriff's Office, originally joining from the Sheriff's Office in 2013. The statement says that both men went to the restaurant to eat while on duty. There were no crimes in progress. There was no disturbance. The suspect appears to have walked to the front of the business and shot both men without warning through a window. The shooter, who was found deceased from a gunshot wound by responders outside the business nearby, has been identified as a 59-year-old man whose name doesn't need to be in the news. No further information is available regarding the assailant, and the Florida Department of Law Enforcement is conducting an active, ongoing criminal investigation. And my apologies, I did what I said I'm not going to do during this segment. I offered my opinion by not giving you the man's name. That's it. I won't do my opinion the rest of it. But, okay, never mind. Robin.
Cuba has a new president, and for the first time in over 40 years, his last name is not Castro. Miguel Diaz-Canel officially became president yesterday after Raul Castro stepped down, and Diaz-Canel was confirmed by the National Assembly. Castro, age 86, will remain head of the Communist Party, the most powerful governing body on the island, but his departure from the presidency represents a symbolic shift in an aging leadership, reported by NBC.
From MarketWatch.com, oil gave up early gains this morning after President Donald Trump took to Twitter to blame OPEC for artificially high prices. Trump said the situation was no good and will not be accepted. The tweet that Trump sent says, "Looks like OPEC is at it again with record amounts of oil all over the place, including the fully loaded ships at sea. Oil prices are artificially very high. No good and will not be accepted." The rest of the story says May West Texas Intermediate crude at CLKS is down 0.57%, gave up a small gain to fall 60 cents or 0.8% to $67.75 a barrel after settling down 0.3% to $68.29 a barrel on the New York Mercantile Exchange yesterday. The action comes ahead of a meeting by members of the Joint Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries and Non-OPEC Ministerial Monitoring Committee meeting.
Republicans are angry about the increasing number of mega banks cutting off financing for gun manufacturers. They let those bank supervisors hear about it yesterday. "We don't need red banks and blue banks," John Kennedy, a Republican from Louisiana, told Federal Reserve Governor Randall Quarles at a Senate Banking Committee hearing. "We need banks that are safe and sound and honest, and that appreciate it when the American taxpayer puts up billions and billions of dollars of their hard-earned money to keep these banks from going belly up," reported by the Washington Examiner.
From CNN, a grandmother accused of killing her husband before traveling across the country to impersonate and kill another woman here in Florida has been arrested in Texas. A nationwide manhunt for 56-year-old Lois Reese of Blooming Prairie, Minnesota ended yesterday evening when she was captured in South Padre Island, Texas, according to the Lee County Sheriff's Office. Authorities found Reese about 25 minutes after they received a tip from someone who spotted her at a restaurant, according to a spokeswoman for the city. Lee County Undersheriff Carmine Marcino said in a statement, "I promised all along that Lois Reese would end up in a pair of handcuffs. Tonight she sits in a jail cell in Texas. We are working as expeditiously as possible to bring her back to Lee County to face murder charges," unquote. All right, one quick comment that has not in the text there. This woman was in Ocala. She stayed at the Ocala Hilton under the name of the lady she killed down in South Florida. Mm-hmm. So if all of those of you who wondered if she was still here, no, she was caught last night. So that's good news.
Thank God. A writer for The Late Show with Stephen Colbert has found herself in hot water over a tweet she wrote about the death of former First Lady Barbara Bush. Jen Spria tweeted, "R.I.P. Barbara Bush, the only woman who was 92 for 30 years. Spira quickly garnered a negative reaction for the tweet from her followers. "Wow, that is incredibly insensitive and rude," one user wrote. "Quite sickening," said another, reported by Fox.
From the website yahoo.com, and the Associated Press. A volcano in southern Japan has erupted for the first time in 250 years, and authorities set up a no-go zone around the mountain. Mount Iu spewed smoke and ash high into the sky yesterday in its first eruption since 1768. Japan's meteorological agency this morning expanded a no-go zone to the entire mountain from previously just around the volcano's crater. Explosions have briefly subsided so far, but officials cautioned residents in nearby towns against falling volcanic rocks and ash.
The Southwest Airlines engine explosion is linked to a prior accident. A similar engine fault behind a fatal mid-air engine explosion that punctured a passenger jet window was reported in 2016. A female passenger died after she was nearly sucked from the cabin of a Southwest Airlines flight traveling from New York to Dallas on Tuesday. Investigators say there was a fault with the engine's fan blades, the cause of the incident 2 years ago, reported by the BBC.
From Spectrum News 13, Marion County Public Schools Superintendent Heidi Mayer spoke to members of the Marion County School Board yesterday, admonishing them in regards to actions perceived by Mayer to be bullying and intimidating. Mayer cited complaints she has received from school administrators who reported to the superintendent's office that school board members had contacted them in a harassing and threatening manner. None of the school board members were individually singled out. The report states that Mayer asked the board to direct involving the day-to-day operations of the district to her attention and not directly to a subordinate employee.
Police in Louisiana say a woman came home to discover a naked woman in her tub eating her Cheetos while taking a bath. A Monroe police affidavit says 29-year-old Evelyn Washington was arrested on burglary and property damage charges. A responding officer found a tub full of water and a plate of food along with half-eaten Cheetos belonging to the victim on the toilet next to the tub, reported by the Associated Press.
From the BBC, German police have defused a World War II bomb in central Berlin after about 10,000 people were evacuated. A short bang, there was a controlled explosion of the detonator away from the bomb, the police said. Berlin's main railway station was reopened. The evacuation zone included homes, government ministries, hospitals, and museums. There was severe transport disruption with trains unable to stop at the main railway station. The 1,100-pound bomb, thought to be made in Britain, was found during construction work in Heidenstrasse. Buildings were cleared in a 2,625-foot radius around the site.
A bison released from its enclosure by flooding in Hawaii was rescued from the middle of a bay by a lasso-wielding cowboy on a jet ski. Hanalei residents reported seeing buffalo running loose amid flooding this week. One of the animals was spotted struggling in Hanalei Bay. A witness captured video of a lasso-wielding cowboy roping the bison and towing it back to shore. Locals said the bison were released when floodwaters provided a path over the fence surrounding their enclosure, reported by UPI.
From the Huffington Post, actor Jim Carrey is keeping his paintbrush busy. The actor/artist unveiled his latest portrait on Twitter this week, offering two views of Michael Cohen, President Donald Trump's personal attorney, who's at the center of a federal investigation. The text surrounding the image refers to a threat Cohen once made to the media, saying, "I'm warning you, tread very effing lightly because what I'm going to do to you is going to be effing disgusting," he told the Daily Beast in 2015. You understand me? Carrey also posted another image that appears to be Cohen with a tweet that said, "Is there a short bus to take all the best people to prison?" Over the past few months, Carrey has been painting not very flattering images of people close to Trump and posting them on Twitter. Earlier this week, he took on Fox News host and Cohen client Sean Hannity.
Fearless Girl is on the move. The much-beloved statue will depart her perch opposite the iconic charging bull to stare down some new scenery, the New York Stock Exchange. City Hall and the financial services firm that commissioned Fearless Girl, State Street Global Advisors, announced the move yesterday. Our goal is to promote the power of having women in leadership, and placing her right next to the New York Stock Exchange is really the perfect metaphor, reported by the New York Daily.
From Spectrum News 13, students across the country plan to walk out of class today as a demonstration for changes in the country's gun laws. While the walkout was organized after the Valentine's Day massacre in Parkland, Florida, the news release from the March for Our Lives Twitter account states that today's date was chosen because today is the anniversary of the Columbine high school shootings in Colorado on April 20th, 1999. Marion County school officials say the day will be an opportunity for high school students to exchange ideas and opinions when it comes to school safety. Instead of walking out of class, Marion County students will constructively use a 30-minute time period to exchange ideas, discuss differing opinions, and offer hard-thought solutions on how our community should address school tragedies like the Parkland, Florida shooting in February. Marion County's 7 traditional public high school principals have worked with student leaders to tailor activities for their respective campuses.
The outbreak of E. coli illness tied to tainted Arizona romaine lettuce continues to expand, federal health officials are saying. Since the last update on April 13th, 2018, 18 more ill people have been added to this investigation, bringing the total number to 53. The illnesses have been identified as linked to a particularly virulent strain of E. coli 0157H7. The cases now have been reported in 5 more states, bringing the total number of states involved to 16, reported by WebMD.
From Forbes.com, Amazon's Alexa is a great little helper AI, but there are times when it feels frustratingly locked into a single set of responses. Sure, your pet sitter can figure out how to turn on the lights and play some music with your Echo, but what about your pet's schedule, or where you keep the leash, or the number for your vet? You can handwrite a note and leave it on the counter, but what if there was a more efficient way to get them the information? What if they could just ask Alexa? With the new Alexa Skill Blueprints site, you can set up your Alexa-enabled device to do just that. The Alexa Blueprints site gives you 20 skill blueprints to use as a starting point to launch your own personalized interactions. In addition to keeping your pet taken care of, you can also create custom question and answer responses for those times you just want Alexa to confirm that you're the greatest. Give your house guests pertinent information like how to turn on the TV or where you keep extra toilet paper. Keep your babysitter on task with info on bedtimes and how long your kids are actually allowed to watch TV. Create a trove of jokes, which will of course all be grown worthy, or a game of trivia on topics of that your family loves. The point is, it's a small portion of the available interactions. Amazon will be adding more as time goes on, but they were able to provide a couple for this news release.
A suspect fleeing from police in Florida ended up needing their help when he ran into a swamp and sank up to his neck in thick mud. The Pasco County Sheriff's Office said deputies attempted to stop a driver for speeding on Tuesday on U.S. Route 41, and the vehicle nearby struck deputies during the ensuing pursuit. The driver, identified as Paul Andrew Smith, got out of his vehicle after a short chase and fled on foot into a nearby swamp. Footage recorded by a canine handler's body camera shows the dog Knox locating Smith in the swamp where he was submerged up to his neck in thick mud. The sheriff's office said it took several deputies working together to pull Smith free from the muck. Smith, who was found to be wanted by authorities in neighboring Hernando County, was arrested on charges of fleeing to elude, aggravated assault on a law enforcement officer, and violation of probation, reported by UPI.
From WCJB TV 20, the Ocala City Council has approved plans to move ahead with construction of a pavilion for the homeless. It will be part of the Interfaith Emergency Services campus. City officials say the pavilion will help get the homeless community back on their feet. The pavilion will be located on Northwest 2nd Street, and it will have 15 picnic tables, 2 bathrooms, showers, and an office. The day pavilion will provide a structure that's well lit, that's safe, and that has sanitary facilities where people can enjoy a meal, but the city is not establishing a feeding program. City officials say the pavilion is expected to cost around $500,000. The pavilion will be open from 7 a.m. until 10 p.m., and Ocala Park Services will work with city personnel to help meet those requirements. Mayor Kent Gwynn says the project should be completed by October.
When a Harriet Tubman scholar found out in 2016 that the abolitionist that she studied for decades was going to be the new face of the $20 bill, she cried. Here you have an African American woman formerly enslaved who fought and struggled her whole life for freedom and equality, Kate Larson said. But Larson and others eager to withdraw Tubman's from the bank may have to wait longer than expected. 2 years ago this week, Treasury Secretary Jack Lew announced redesigns for the $20, $10, and $5 bills that would honor civil rights and women's rights icons, Tubman, Alice Paul, and Marian Anderson, but so far there has been no word on any progress, reported by the Daily Beast.
From USA Today, the official invitation-only funeral for Barbara Bush is tomorrow, but the public can pay their last respects to the former First Lady today at a Houston church. Mrs. Bush's body will lie in repose from noon till midnight at St. Martin's Episcopal Church, a few blocks from the home she and George H.W. Bush built after he was defeated for re-election in 1992. Barbara Bush died on Tuesday at the age of 92 after a long struggle with congestive heart failure and pulmonary disease. Former Presidents Barack Obama and Bill Clinton and current First Lady Melania Trump are scheduled to attend her funeral tomorrow.
A museum in Denmark says it has solved the 7-decade mystery of a missing Nazi submarine. The Sea War Museum Jutland in northern Denmark says researchers found the German U-boat U-3523 on the seafloor just north of the country earlier this month. The submarine was sunk on May 6, 1945, the day after Nazi forces surrendered in Denmark, parts of Germany, and the Netherlands in World War II. For years, there has been speculation that the submarine, which was one of Nazi Germany's most advanced U-boats at the time, made it to South America carrying fleeing Nazi officers, possibly even Adolf Hitler himself, reported by CBS.
From USA Today, survivors of sexual abuse by former Michigan State and USA Gymnastics Dr. Larry Nassar will join students at the university today to demand that members of the Board of Trustees and interim president John Engler step down. The rally for resignations is being organized by hashtag MeTooMSU and Reclaim MSU, two groups that emerged in the wake of the Nassar scandal. Nassar is currently in prison following his conviction on sexual assault and child pornography charges. Former Michigan State President Lou Anna Simon resigned in January amid victims' claims that the university failed to act on their reports of Nassar's abuses.
It's 21 years since the Commonwealth, the group of countries that used to make up the British Empire, met in Britain. Then the UK had an ardently Europhile leader, Tony Blair, basking in the glory of a record-breaking win, and a queen whose popularity was in crisis over her response to the death of Princess Diana. This time, it's the Prime Minister who's in trouble, and the monarch who could be coming to the rescue as the nation parts ways with the European Union, reported by the San Francisco Gate.
From USA Today, it's no secret what Chris Tucker's character Smokey does on Fridays, but today he will be joined by tokers, potheads, and dope fiends across the nation, celebrating another 420, the pot holiday with hazy origins that seems to get more popular every year, and the ganja gang has never had it so good. President Trump has promised not too harsh on states with legal weed, which will allow the budding marijuana industry to continue to flower. And while you may not see 420 holiday decorations in every store, there are a lot of deals out there for the frugal stoner this year.
The Washington State Department of Transportation said a training error was to blame for an inappropriate message on an electronic highway sign that read, "You suck." This was an inappropriate message, and we apologize if anyone was offended, reported by UPI.
From USA Today, a cinema in Saudi Arabia's capital of Riyadh is expected to open to the public today for a screening of the Hollywood blockbuster Black Panther, ending a 35-year ban on movies in the kingdom. An invitation-only screening was held Wednesday at a concert hall with both men and women in attendance at the gala ribbon-cutting ceremony. The revival of the cinema is the latest move by 32-year-old Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman to ease social restrictions. Other moves have included opening concert halls and clubs and dropping the ban on women driving.
There will be no shortage of hand-me-downs for this Michigan baby. Kateri and Jay Schwant welcomed the birth of their 14th son on Wednesday, 5 days before he was due. They have no daughters. The oldest son is in his 20s, reported by the Associated Press.
And I will squeeze in a public service announcement, so this is not really to be counted among the news items when we tally it up, Robin. I just want you to know something tomorrow that might be enjoyable for you to do. It's an event happening at David and Sue Nasavera's property on Highway 326. They own the tiger known as Maximus. He's 2 years old, and on their property they will be having a car show. Hot Cars and Cool Cats is what they're calling it. If you have a car you'd like in the show, it's $10. If you want to go, it's free. If you go, be sure to buy something to eat. The food and the other things that are being sold there will all contribute to the money that is raised for Endangered Animal Rescue Sanctuary here in Marion County. EARS for short. How many stories today, Robin?
28.
We'll be right back.
Fox News Radio. I'm Lillian Wu. The public getting a glimpse at some of James Comey's memos, which included him writing the president wanted it known that he was not under investigation and supported investigating any wrongdoing by his team.
The chairman of the House Committees Oversight, Intelligence, and Judiciary, who requested these memos, issued a joint statement saying this shows the president made clear he wanted allegations fully investigated. But House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi, she disagreed, tweeting, "The release of the memos are further proof of the president's contempt for the rule of law."
Fox's Griff Jenkins. A Minnesota woman on the run since March, suspected of killing her husband, arrested last night on South Padre Island, Texas.
56-year-old Lois Reese is also accused in the murder of 59-year-old Pamela Hutchinson with the same gun. Detectives believe Reese killed Hutchinson to assume her identity.
Fox's Tom Rigotti. Fox News. We report, you decide.
Pros in the know start with Lowe's, because at Lowe's we have the brands pros know and trust to get the job done right, like Shark Bite. And those great brands also come with big savings by buying in bulk. Have a plumbing job coming up? Save on Shark Bite PEX fittings when buying in bulk. Plus, save time by ordering ahead online, and your order will be ready for pickup at our Pro Desk. So Pro, now that you know, let's get started. See the Lowe's Pro Desk or Lowe'sForPros.com for more details.
Save more with Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Hey, what are you doing up here on the roof?
I want to tell the world I just met the woman of my dreams. What about you?
I want to tell the world that Liberty Mutual saved me $782.
Liberty did what?
They saved me $782.
Oh, you go first then. $782 really puts finding love into perspective.
Visit us online to get a quote, and you could save $782. Liberty Mutual Insurance. Based on a recent countrywide new customer survey, coverage is underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company, Equal Housing Insurer.
And Council.
50% off.
Howdy folks, RL here for Dairy Queen again to tell you about what's hot and what's not. Dairy Queen has some of the best char grilled chicken breasts on earth, as well as their chicken breast salad. And the burgers are exceptional, cooked on a real grill for the best flavor and less fat. And for dessert, blizzards are unequaled. Personally, banana split is my all-time favorite. Dairy Queen Silver Springs, where we always treat you like kings and queens.
Gene Powell Pasture Mowing, 352-629-2440. Our tractor services include bush hog, disking, front end loader, box blade, and stump grinding. We also have zero-turn mowers for the smaller paddocks, aisleways, fence rows, and lawn care. Fence row spraying is also available for weed control. We are licensed and insured. Gene Powell Pasture Mowing, 352-629-2440, or online at powellgene, Gene, at yahoo.com. Gene Powell Pasture Mowing. Gene is a proud United States veteran.
Hello, gorgeous.
Hi, this is Becky at Hello Gorgeous Salon. We are located in the heart of downtown Ocala, right next to the historic Marion Theater. I'd like to invite you to stop by and see our new boutique area and meet our staff of professional stylists. Here at Hello Gorgeous, we are ready to update your look with the latest trends. And with summer here, it's the perfect time to brighten up your look. So make your appointment now for those highlights and Brazilian blowout. But don't stop there. We are a full-service salon offering manicures, pedicures, and facials also. So if you've been searching for a salon to call your own, come and see us at Hello Gorgeous Salon. We are located at 48 South Magnolia Avenue in downtown Ocala. Ocala, right next to the Marion Theater. So call today and set up your appointment at Hello Gorgeous Salon at 351-5358. That's 351-5358. And don't forget, we also do men and children's cuts too. 351-5358.
Hello, gorgeous.
Your community radio station.
WOCA. Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Professor Gadget. They all know Jim George in Europe, Asia, Africa. Even the penguins in Antarctica are familiar with Jim George.
Read your Canucks off.
Good morning, Jim. How you doing?
Fine, thank you. Fine, thank you.
Yeah, your fame precedes you.
So, Rob, I've been reading the history of the apple.
The apple. You brought us some apple books.
Isn't that something?
Explain what an apple book is.
Well, I was going to let Robin. She just read it, I think.
Oh, Robin, explain what the apple book is.
Yeah, this is so neat. It's made from apple peels. It's made in Italy, and it's all from the residuals and the peels of the fallen apples. So this is really, really such an interesting thing. I mean, it smells all over the place. The pages, it smells like real apples, and it's wonderful. The design is great.
Yeah.
I love it. I think it's absolutely fabulous.
Yeah. Neat.
Yeah, when I saw it, I said, I've just got to bring it.
Where'd you see this?
This was at the trade show I was at, which was called Technology Summit.
So you're operating on no sleep at all right now?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm ready.
And where was the?
It was in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Raleigh, that's right. Yep. Oh, my gosh. So you haven't slept at all night?
Well, I actually did. I went home. Got home about 2:30, and at 3 o'clock, I laid down. But at 5:30, my internal clock said, "What are you doing laying down?" So I got up. So had a couple hours,
Are you an early riser by nature?
Yeah. By nature, yeah. By military.
That's where we got started.
Oh, yeah. No, you get up very early in the morning, so it's just an inherent thing. But it was an interesting book. As soon as I saw it, it's a nice notebook. So I know you guys like to make notes. You like to draw.
Yeah, this is wonderful.
It's something you can keep with you. It's got the little band that allows you to open up to the page you were last at. And got another little band that allows you to mark a page. So.
And a pen holder.
So
did you, when you colorful? I love it.
When you at the conference, did you? Was it about gadgets and that kind of thing?
No, it was actually about television broadcasters and how they're being forced to relocate again.
What do you mean? Relocate
and to combine. So the FCC over the years there were 83 channels of UHF, and the FCC decided that. They needed to force broadcasters away from all but 69 channels of UHF. So they made broadcasters move, and then they made a move again many years later. So they had to buy retransmitters and repeaters or transmitters, and they kept moving them. So now. I don't even know what it is. I want to say it's probably 39 channels from, in the UHF frequency that's available. So the FCC, in its wisdom, every time they make a broadcaster leave that 6 megahertz of frequency, they sell that to the Verizons of this world and to the telephone companies and to first responders, because those frequencies up in the 700 megahertz, 500 megahertz range, where those UHF frequencies are very good at penetrating walls and such, so that it's a good emergency frequency. Well, now it's become very profitable. So when they make a television station move, and let's assume it costs the television station because they're not necessarily in a grade A contour like New York City or something. They're in Hoboken or someplace. The FCC sells those frequencies for millions and millions, and like $500 million for one frequency.
Wow.
Or even more. And now they want them to move again, and not only move again, but to joint usage. They want, if you own channel 16, let's say if that's your frequency is 16, which is around 400 megahertz or less in the UHF band, they want 4 or 5 channels to use that same frequency. And the way they do it is something called ATS 3.0. And it's a new way of transcoding of channel and crunching it, making it very small, but it allows you to do so many things with it. So the broadcasters are happy with ATS-3, but they're just unhappy about the fact that they have to move their frequencies. So the whole convention was based on, what do we do now? We're going to have to move. I mean, the federal government's not going to sit there and just let us keep these channels. The only way they could have stopped it in the past is if they'd come up with something creative on, oh, we can do this with television, we can do that. But since we didn't do that, since the broadcasters didn't do that, now they're saying, no, you just go ahead and move, because now we're giving you so much more capability in that 6 megahertz band. You could do 20 channels and not just one, the way it's compressed. So that's what it was at that. And then, of course, the technologists were there, the people like Adobe, Panasonic, JVC, talking about 4K and 8K. And most broadcasters had agreed at the convention they will skip 4K. Since 8K is a reality in Korea and soon to be a reality in Japan, they'll just wait till 8K becomes not so pricey and go straight to 8K. So if high def is 1K, which it is, 1,080, let's say, pixels, then 4K is 4,000, 3,000 more than the 1,000. And so 8,000 is, going to be a huge advantage. And going to 8K allows them to even shrink their picture more as far as bandwidth is concerned. So everybody's waiting. The broadcasters are in an uproar, but they're trying to consolidate. And
this is way over my head. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
It's a lot of, I thought we were going to talk about, vibrators I can call and get pizza.
When I saw that, I want one that calls a friend.
So
hello.
I have a question about selling wavelengths. Okay.
Yes.
When I receive a wavelength on my TV.
Yes.
The signal I'm receiving is being transmitted or created by another device at the other end, right?
Yes, the transmitter.
Okay. So since we create them with a machine, with a transmitter, and we receive them with a receiver, another machine or whatever.
Right.
How is it possible that the FCC even owns them? I don't even understand that. How is it that they own the wavelength?
Well, they've been mandated by you and me, the American public and Congress, to oversee all frequencies, all transmissions, all receptions. When you have a cell phone, when you first had a cell phone, it would say on their FCC model so-and-so. Everything was tested by the FCC. Cell phones are what they call intrinsically safe, although there's been a lot of talk about if you hold a cell phone close to your ear for hours on end, what happens to that?
I carry it in my pocket. Is that okay?
Right. Yeah, no, it's just burned the body, that's all. At least it's not the ear,
Are you ready for a phone call?
Oh, yeah.
Good morning. Thank you for calling. You're on the air with Jim George.
Good morning, Jim. This is Sonny calling. I don't pretend to even know as much as your daughter on any of this stuff, but from my past experience, when they keep messing with the bandwidths and things like that, the equipment that you have has to be tuned specifically or tuned to a finer frequency or app or whatever you want to call it. The app.
Yes.
And I'm wondering, with your equipment, or say anybody here, say you have low voltage, wouldn't that change the frequency and thus change your reception of the various new government requirements? Everything is getting shrunk down. In other words, you fit a bunch of frequencies on one bandwidth, and then just by making the frequency smaller, you can get more on that bandwidth. And I'll hang up and listen to what your thought is there. I mean, this is getting to a point where if it isn't tuned or you don't have 120 volts, you have 115 volts, you're not going to be on the right frequency. I'll hang up and listen.
Wow. Okay. So it started to go, but we got that. Okay.
Yeah. Well, the tuners, one of the doomsdayer guys, on the moderator on the convention floor, said, you got to understand, this is 5 years out. This isn't something that's going to happen tomorrow. JVC was there. Samsung was there. There are no TVs yet made with 4K tuners for off the air or 8K tuners off the air built into them with the right format. You could probably buy a TV set right now that says 4K compatible, or if there's a 4K picture, it could receive it. But it's receiving it at today's standards, and those standards are going to change. They have to change in order to allow, as Sonny is saying, more people on the same frequency, and they'll share the frequency. So in 6 megahertz wide, instead of having one main channel and maybe 2 or 3 sub carriers, you could have 20 and 30 channels on the same amount of bandwidth. So it's all digital. It's all zeros and ones now. It's all the speed of light. I'm telling you, things are really moving. It makes people like me want to retire. It's just you cannot understand it all. You just cannot understand. It's a newer generation technology. Yeah. It really is.
It is amazing, the changes in everything.
And you remember the old transmitters, the Klystron tubes, the huge rooms, the heat.
The only thing I can relate to when you say that is the transmitter we used to have at WTMC.
Yeah.
It was about the size of bigger than the wall behind me.
Yeah.
Which is about, 10 by 14 maybe, the original one, right? And I know had gigantic tubes in it, and very expensive and hard to find, especially the older it got, the harder it was to find those tubes.
Well, I'll be going to the National Association of Broadcasters convention in July in Las Vegas, and that's where all the manufacturers display their stuff. But the transmitters now are only 1 3/4 inch high.
Oh my God!
Wow!
So
that
still 19 inches wide to fit in a rack, but only 1 3/4 inches high.
And that's a transmitter of how much power?
Oh, 100,000 watts, easy.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Wow!
Because the wattage is determined differently.
Okay, but let me ask you this: the tower itself is still not obsolete, right? You still have to have the tower, right?
Well, and there again, I just got an email, not an email. I got a certified letter from Channel 45 down in Orlando that they are coming off of a tower where they rent space and moving over to a building parapet wall. In other words, they're going to mount their antennas on a wall of a building, high up.
Really?
Because they don't need that height anymore. You can go just as far with the new technology. So it not only has the wattage to push out, but it has the new waveform to be received differently. And so they're taking the advantage now. They're moving now so that when the time comes, they can save like $2,000 a month rent on a tower. And so more and more people are going to be using the same tower. One of the things they were talking about was, what do we do if the power goes off at that location and there's 6 of us on there, and how do we know who caused it, and what technician rolls to fix it? And, but they're 5 years out. They said, well, we have 5 years to figure it out. But in 5 years, it will be a reality. Everything will have to be what it is now.
Wow.
It's really amazing, because I know when Church Street Station was in its heyday, like 20 years ago, we used to go to Orlando to the Sharper Image down there. Mm-hmm. And then we saw Bose came out with this radio, but they had 2 tiny speakers, maybe 3 inches by 3 inches.
Right.
And the sound that came out of them was amazing.
Yes.
And at that time, the speakers were really huge in your home.
Exactly. Yeah, the new technology speakers, I was hoping they would have some small radios there, but the guy said at NAB, JVC is going to come out with AM/FM radio now. It's going to be like an anniversary one. In other words, they're not going to be, found at Walmart and such. They're going to be more or less, broadcasters will each have one on their desk. Maybe even radio stations might get an email saying, if you'd like to have a keepsake. But these radios are supposed to be the most sensitive ever made as far as all band reception and TV reception. So you could listen to the audio of any TV channel because it's a radio. But with the plug-in in the back, like you would a laptop, you get the video.
That's awesome.
So it picks.
Really, right to the computer? You plug it
Well,
into
it's a
the
radio,
computer?
so just imagine a radio that you could carry with you, maybe 8.5 by 11, maybe 2 inches thick, and it has all the bands. It's all LED display. You just push the button for the frequency and such. You can save the channel, and like if you want to say WOCA for the audio, for the radio channel, but all the different channels, and then it has a port in the back that you could plug in a monitor and watch the TV. So if you were in a hotel room and you had a little monitor, so they're going to try and make it in a case where it opens up like a book, and they come apart. So the radio you can take anywhere you want to, and then when you want the video one, you snap it together and take it.
Nice.
So, unbelievable.
I remember as a kid going to Radio Shack looking at a radio, and the salesman I saw one for $14, and he was trying to sell me one I think was like $100 or more. And one of the sales things was he said, "This radio has all the bands." And I said, "Well, I only care about the Beatles."
Yeah, right.
Hey, did you when we see a story about receivers getting signals from outer space? Now, the wavelength they're picking up, how do we know what kind of, like if we're looking for alien life, just to try to talk about this, how do we know what wavelength they might be using? There's no way. What do we just have, a gigantic thing that keeps changing channels?
So it's an all-band receiver. Basically, it's a scanner. It's scanning very quickly. I mean, you can't even imagine how fast it scans from, let's say, 0 to 100 gig. It's just really scanning. And when it comes across any kind of any level above a noise floor, some kind of an anomaly, a beep, a click, whatever, then it has one of its tuners in there that locks in on that. Now, it's got other tuners that are still scanning, so it's not, stopped by any means. And then if it's just a random noise that happened once and never happened again, it picked up some who knows what out there. Right. But, we haven't found any, intelligent life on other planets, and even less on our own.
Did you hear the signal they got from the beginning of the universe?
I love that. I love your quote.
Did you hear the signal they got from the beginning of the universe?
No.
Now, they say that the signal, I'm not making this up, they say the signal, I don't know how they know, but they say it's been traveling through the universe since the very beginning of time. And I have the sound. Do you want to hear it? You have to listen really carefully, because you can hear what interested them. To me, it sounds like static, but apparently you can hear something in here. Maybe with your trained ears. Is this it? Here it is. See, I can't hear anything.
A road trip.
This is WOCA, the source.
I don't know if you heard something.
Yeah.
So when you go to this conference, you have a camaraderie with everybody else that's there. Most everybody is familiar with everybody else, so you're able to exchange ideas and.
Yeah, at least we're on the same, technology plane, wavelength. But no, I didn't know a single person at this convention, but they have minglers. So, the first night was like a little wine and cheese. Everybody whined,
Yeah.
And then the next day was presentations by some of the manufacturers that were there. And then the actual moderators and the actual, summit, what are we going to do about this and how does this work and such. And, but you learned that, you sit with people and you talk. I met some very interesting people.
And I'm sure they said the same about you. I mean, it's amazing. You can talk over our heads so easily.
Were you one of the speakers?
No.
This time?
No, not this time. No.
All right, let's go to the phone. Thank you for calling and for waiting. You're on the air with Jim George.
Yes, good morning. Say that outer space noise sounded almost like you were down at the railroad station watching a freight train go by.
I did, yes.
Say, Mr. George, is there any way that I can watch where I used to live up in Wisconsin, of my local TV stations by using a special receiver or something on my TV down here?
Well, you don't need to have a special receiver. You have your computer. So let's assume the call lines are WRMB or something like that, whatever they are. You just type that in there, usually .com, or you can go to Google and do a search. You will find that station. It'll say, listen now. You click on it, and there you go. How does WOC...
Somehow you can get it on your TV. I know my wife gets it on the computer.
Well, no, you can do it to your TV because you can sling it. You could get it on your, you could use your cell phone, for instance, the app, and, get an app for it. The radio station will actually say, download our app. You download the app, and then when you download the app, you sling it to your TV, and you watch it on your TV.
Oh, I didn't know that. Well, very good. Well, thank you very much. I'll have to try that.
Yeah, especially during the newscast. If you like the local news of what's going on, just watch it during that time.
Yeah, I always pray that I've got family, and everything up there from the Milwaukee area, and I always like to see what's going on news-wise and weather-wise and whatnot, and kind of keep up with things that way. So thank you very much. I'm going to try that.
You're welcome. Now, if you have an older computer, also depends. You don't need to do with a new computer. You could go right ahead and take the HDMI cable out and put it right straight to your TV. In other words, just keep a computer right there, and all you do is change the inputs.
Oh.
Input 1 is off the air. Input 2, let's say, is cable. Input 3 is the computer, and then the computer will show the streaming the television station you want. Simple as that.
So I found an app. Let me see where to go here. I'm new to this whole app thing. It's called.
He's got a lot of apps.
I'm an app guy.
Oh
yeah.
It's called
loaded.
It's called TV app. TV app.
There you go.
And it says it has channels from all over the country.
Yeah. And the other day I called my Verizon guy, Matt, Wilkerson, I think his name is, and I said, I heard, that the cell phones can be turned into radio receivers, but that Verizon hasn't turned that function on recently or in our local area. And he said, well, let me check. He called me back not even 5 minutes later. Said, oh, no, it's on your cell phone.
Really?
All you have to do is go here, go there, click that. So I did it. Ta-da. And there it was.
Nice.
And then it says,
You're into the ta-da thing.
Plug in your earphones, and your earphone wire is the antenna.
Oh, my.
And now you don't have to use any of your data. You don't use your data plan. The cell phone is a radio.
Really?
That is neat.
So you you can use the earpiece if you want to, or just throw it over your shoulder, or roll it up in your pocket, and that's your antenna.
Isn't that
And now you're listening to WOCA walking around.
Yeah.
Done.
But if your earplug is plugged in, doesn't that turn off the speaker? You have to have it in your ears.
Well, I don't know which one you might have. Some of them do. I know that my wife has the option with her cell phone that she can have the earplug and local sound, and it comes with a two-way splitter, so you can share earbuds.
Oh, isn't that nice?
So you can plug it in, and then you could have one earpiece.
I saw a movie like that the other day.
Did you?
Yeah.
We did. That was pretty neat.
Hey,
I forget the name of it.
You gave us 2 books that smell like apples, and every time out of my peripheral, I see Robin sniffing her book.
I know. I think it's wonderful.
It looks like she's kissing her book. It looks like my beautiful, beautiful book.
Well, I gave one to my grandson, and I said no, and he was taking a bite out of it. He was trying to see how it tasted. It smells like an apple, doesn't it?
I wonder if it does.
Like Macintosh apples, actually.
It does. It smells great.
So I said, and I don't know how long the smell will last, but since it's made out of the peel itself, it's liable to last a very long time.
Yeah.
It is. It's a nice looking book. Very appealing.
Yep, there it is. Appeal now.
We had a news story this morning about the light phone, too. I guess they're trying to make it now where the phone doesn't have all those whistles and bells, where you can store 9 phone numbers in it, and you can just call people, and you don't have to worry about being interrupted by texts and things.
Oh, that's good. You're going backward in technology. I love it. Make it simple, folks. Make it simple.
You know what? I always wish we'd go back to the clarity of the old phone. The old phone sounded perfect. I never had people cutting out on me when I was a kid, right? Did you? Somebody calls you on the phone, you heard them perfectly. They can call from anywhere. Just cost you a fortune, that's all.
Yeah.
Well, we're really glad that you're back and safe.
I am too. I got a couple of service calls I've got to perform this morning.
You got to give yourself a break. You got to take a nap.
I am going to sleep well tonight. I can guarantee you. I drove in last night from Raleigh, and rain. I was trying to tell Larry earlier. They kept announcing on the emergency alert station that severe weather alert. I mean, winds 60, 70 mile an hour winds, and believe believe me, I was in the middle of it, trying to drive back, blinding rain. People were pulled over on the side of the road. I just, lowered my speed and kept plugging. And luckily, about an hour, I got through one squall and said, "Oh, good, I'm out of it." And then here comes another one. So,
oh my!
So North Carolina, it never stopped raining in North Carolina or South Carolina all day yesterday. Never stopped.
Looks like it's pouring in Times Square too. I got the Times Square.
Oh, there you go.
Live
Right
cam on my
Times Square
phone.
downtown.
But not here. We've
Not
got
here.
sunshine.
Beautiful here.
So when's First Friday?
Tonight.
And it's First Friday.
You'll be
Right.
sleeping. You won't be
No,
out.
sorry.
I won't see you tonight. You'll still be in that chocolate shop
That's
somewhere.
right. I'll come out of it. I didn't see you go in.
I never did see you come. Thank you, Jim. Always good to see you. I'm glad you're safe.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.
Broadway's mega hit Mamma Mia is live on stage at Ocala Civic Theater May 17th through June 17th. ABBA favorites like Dancing Queen, Super Trooper, and Mamma Mia are all part of the fun musical about what happens when you surprise your mom by inviting all three men who might be your dad to your wedding. On sale now, 352-236-2274 or buy online at okalacivictheater.com.
Hi, this is Lisa McGinnis, editor of Ocala Magazine and host of Ocala Magazine Radio. Join me every Friday at 10 a.m. when we bring the pages of Ocala Magazine to life. There's only one Ocala Magazine and only one source for local news talk radio. Tune in Friday at 10 a.m. right here on 1370 a.m. and 96.3 FM. WOCA, The Source.
All right, thank you. 29 minutes after 9 o'clock. I am popping on just for a second. The show you just heard was pre-recorded. Jim was not able to come in. Jim George said that was an older show. And I've had numerous calls regarding a shooting at Forest High School, and thank you for those calls. I wanted to let you know what I know. I did call Megan Shea, the public information officer at the Ocala Police Department. She's probably got her hands full, so I am just going to tell you what I have from the Star Banner website. There was a shooting at Forest High School. One student was shot in the ankle this morning. The shooter is in custody. The injured student was taken to a hospital. The article says that parents should go to First Baptist Church at 2801 Southeast Merricamp Road and not to the Forest High School campus. All the students are being taken to the church by bus. Parents, of course, heard the news and it spread like wildfire. A lot of people have been worried and not sure what was going on. When you hear of a shooting in a school, of course, the worst comes to mind, and understandably so. So those of you who've called us here and wondered why we weren't coming on the air right away is because we didn't know anything, and we didn't want you to have scary information unless it was absolutely necessary. So that's the story. So if you, that's all we have, to tell you the truth. We don't have any names and we don't have any motives. We don't have any information other than there was a shooting at Forest High School this morning. The shooter is in custody. There was one person shot, one student, and the person who was shot in the ankle, according to the article in the Star Banner. The other part of this is that if you have a student there and you are going to the school to get your student, I don't know why they're doing it this way, but they are. The school is in lockdown. That's probably why. So they're transporting the students to First Baptist Church of Ocala at 2801 Southeast Merricamp Road. They're asking that parents do not go to the Forest campus, that instead you go to the First Baptist Church of Ocala. If you're listening to this and you're not sure if your other friends who are also parents are aware of this, please let them know. And that's all I have. I can only repeat it again, and I'm only going to repeat it again for those who either didn't hear it all, weren't sure what I said, just caught the tail end of what I said. But it is regarding a shooting at Forest High School. I did put a call into the Marion County Sheriff's Office and the Ocala Police Department, both agencies were busy, and were not able to talk to me on the phone. I don't have any other information. What I'm getting is from the Star Banner, so thank you guys over there for doing this great job. The news, again, there was a shooting at Forest High School this morning. There was one student shot in the ankle. The other student, the shooter, is in custody. The injured student was taken to a hospital. No other information was provided except for information for the parents to please go to the First Baptist Church at 2801. That's the big Baptist church over there. 2801 Southeast Merricamp Road. That's where the students are being bused to. So don't go to the school to get your student. Go to the church. We'll take a little break, and I'll call back to the police department and see if I can get any other information, but that's what we have so far. We'll take a little break, and we'll be right back.
Hi, this is Lisa McGinnis, editor of Ocala Magazine and host of Ocala Magazine Radio. Join me every Friday at 10 a.m. when we bring the pages of Ocala Magazine to life. There's only one Ocala Magazine and only one source for local news talk radio. Tune in Friday at 10 a.m. right here on 1370 a.m. and 96.3 FM. WOCA, The Source.
Look around that yard. You could probably use a tree or two, couldn't you? That means a trip to everyone's favorite tree place, Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens in Ocala. This week at Bob Wine's, you get 1/3 to 2/3 off any tree in stock. And that includes a huge selection too long to list here. This is the real deal on trees at Bob Wine's. Suppose you need some color for your yard. The answer again, Bob Wine's for hydrangea, more than you can imagine in one place. And of course, those gorgeously blooming azaleas, including the area's largest selection of encore azaleas. They keep blooming all year round. Hanging baskets large and small, buy one for $14.99, get a second one for half price. Spring veggies unbelievably priced at just 99 cents in the 4-pack. The place, Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens, Southeast 38th Street, Ocala, just east of Lake Weir Avenue, daily till 4:30, Saturday till 3 in the same blooming place since 1952.
This is James Snyder, inviting you to join me each Sunday morning at 9:30 for Sunday Joy on 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
All right, 25 minutes before 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. And, the horrible news about the shooting in Trenton with the two deputies. And now we have a shooting at Forest High School. So far, the shooting at Forest High School is regarding a student who was shot in the ankle and another student who was taken into custody. I've called the public information officers for both police and sheriff's office. I have not been able to get a comment from either one of them, but the Star Banner has published a story indicating that the one student who was shot in the ankle, and the other student was taken into custody. Robin is calling right now Kevin Christian, the public information officer for the school district, and we know Kevin really well. If you listen to us regularly, you hear Kevin in here with Dr. Heidi Mayer once a month or so, and we've known Kevin for a long, long time. He's our go-to guy when it comes to any information with the schools, and usually it's always good stuff. Usually they're doing really good stuff. And this is just one of those things that happen, so we have to get the information out there. We've had calls from several parents and relatives of students in the schools, and I will do my best to get you the information. If you hang in there, I can hear Robin through the hallway there. It sounds like she may be on the phone with Kevin right now. So once she's able to get a hold of Kevin, and if I don't see, the thing is this: we don't even know if Kevin would know everything yet at this point, because if it all happened just recently, it's possible that the information didn't get passed on. and the police and the sheriff's office are both, I'm sure you've also done the same. If you're interested in what's going on over there, I'm sure you've probably called over to both agencies as well. Is this for me, Robin, to take?
It's Kevin.
This is Kevin. Hey, Kevin.
Good morning, sir.
How are you?
It's a little hectic right now, but if I can just go ahead and share some details.
Yeah, that's what our listeners are hoping for. We've had so many calls this morning.
Yes. Okay, well, let me first put parents' minds to ease. There was one student injured. I understand he was shot in the foot. They took him to him or her. They took him to the hospital. So there's non-life-threatening injuries. They do have the other person in custody. I do not know if that's a student or an adult. The shooting did happen inside the school. I'm standing in front of Forest High School right now. Most importantly, we are reuniting students with their parents at First Baptist Church of Ocala on Southeast Camp Road. We have, I would say, upwards of 30 to 40 school buses on campus right now. They just loaded students from in front of the school onto those buses. So those buses will head directly to First Baptist of Ocala on Southeast Camp Road. So we're encouraging all parents and guardians to go there. That's where they'll be reunited with their students. Now, keep in mind, they need to bring ID, okay? This is for the safety of the students. So they need to bring identification to be sure to check out their students appropriately.
Okay. I'm not asking you to say the names, but we've had a couple of people asking for names. We don't have any names, right?
I don't have any names right now. Correct.
Oh, okay. All right. Hey, Kevin, you just put a lot of people's minds at ease. Thank you so much for coming on the air. And
It's very chaotic here. Camp Road is a mess, and there's heavy law enforcement presence, but that's exactly what we want in a situation like this.
Yeah.
So kudos to all of our first responders. Our parents have been wonderful. Obviously, students are scared, parents are scared, but this could have been a whole lot worse.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. Well, thank you for the work you do, Kevin, and for keeping us in on the loop. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you. Keep us in your prayers.
Yes, we will. Thank you, Kevin. So there you have it. So it sounds, scary. Could have been serious, and no details. You just heard it from Kevin himself. He's over at the school. Kevin Christian has been doing such a great job with our schools for, gosh, he's the only public information officer I know. That's how long he's been doing it.
Exactly.
So hopefully that puts some of you at ease. I don't have any other information. He didn't even know the names. And I know some of you have asked the names. So if you're going to pick up your student, just to repeat what Kevin said, don't go to the school. Go to First Baptist Church and be sure you have ID.
Exactly.
They don't want people to pick up students that aren't their own students. So, all right.
So thank you so much, Kevin, and our law enforcement officers and all of the school personnel for acting so quickly in protecting our students.
All right, we'll take a little break, and I'm trying to think what to do here. I'll be back in just a bit. I need to regroup a little bit and put some things together. But we'll be back. We'll just continue talking about this. I don't have any other information, but I know the nature of radio. You're listening and then you're not listening, and that's the way I am too when I'm out there listening to the radio. So we will take a break and be right back.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. On this Friday, mostly sunny. Highs will range from 76 in the northernmost part of the zone to 85 in the south. And becoming mostly cloudy Friday night, there can be a shower or two along the coast. Low 59 over the interior north to 70 along the coast in the south. And for Saturday, periods of clouds and sun and breezy with a chance of a shower, especially along the coast. The high 75 at the coast and near 80 inland. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Palm Garden announces Fast Track. Fast Track, focused assessment, safe transition. When a new guest is admitted to Palm Garden, we start with the ABCs. A is the assessment to determine what the guest needs. B is for basic care, which is excellent nursing and therapy. And C is for consistency to provide what's needed throughout the stay. Fast Track. Palm Garden will get you home fast, really, really fast. Take a fast tour of Palm Garden located at the corner of Southwest 27th Avenue and 34th Street.
Howdy, folks. RL here for Dairy Queen again to tell you about what's hot and what's not. Dairy Queen has some of the best char-grilled chicken breasts on earth, as well as their chicken breast salad. And the burgers are exceptional, cooked on a real grill for the best flavor and less fat. And for dessert, blizzards are unequaled. Personally, banana split is my all-time favorite. Dairy Queen Silver Springs, where we always treat you like kings and queens.
Here is your 1-minute news brief from the source WOCA. 2 Gilchrist County deputy sheriffs were shot and killed yesterday in the Ace China restaurant in downtown Trenton after a suspect walked up to the business and shot both deputies through a window. The deputies were at the restaurant to eat and were not there responding to any crime. Marion County Public Schools Superintendent Dr. Heidi Mayer spoke to members of the school board yesterday, admonishing them in regards to actions perceived to be bullying and intimidating toward employees of the school district. Students plan to walk out of class today as a demonstration for changes in the country's gun laws. Marion County school officials say the day will be an opportunity for high school students to exchange ideas and opinions when it comes to school safety. And the Ocala City Council has approved plans to move ahead with the construction of a pavilion for the homeless. City officials say the pavilion is expected to cost around $500,000 and should be completed by October. And that is your news brief from the source.
Hello, gorgeous.
Hi, this is Becky at Hello Gorgeous Salon. We are located in the heart of downtown Ocala, right next to the historic Marion Theater. I'd like to invite you to stop by and see our new boutique area and meet our staff of professional stylists. Here at Hello Gorgeous, we are ready to update your look with the latest trends. And with summer here, it's the perfect time to brighten up your look. So make your appointment now for those highlights and Brazilian blowout. But don't stop there. We are a full-service salon offering manicures, pedicures, and facials also. So if you've been searching for a salon to call your own, come and see us at Hello Gorgeous Salon. We are located at 48 South Magnolia Avenue in downtown Ocala, right next to the Marion Theater. So call today and set up your appointment at Hello Gorgeous Salon at 351-5358. That's 351-5358. And don't forget, we also do men and children's cuts too. 351-5358.
Hello, gorgeous.
All right. Thank you for tuning in. We just had Kevin Christian on, Public Information Officer for the Marion County Public Schools, and I actually have an update from since he was on the air. He wasn't sure if the shooter at Forest High School was a student or not. The Star Banner is now saying the shooter was a student. So here's the latest, and I am getting this from the Star Banner. For the Star Banner folks over there, thank you for doing this. We've been trying our hardest to get the public information officers from the police and the sheriff's office, and thank goodness we were able to get Kevin from the schools. Kevin, by the way, was at the Forest High School at the time. So just to start off with the news, a student was shot by another student over at Forest High School. The student who was shot in the ankle, and was taken to the hospital. The other student has been arrested. So that's what we know. When Kevin was on, he wasn't sure if the shooter was a student or an adult. It turns out it was a student. Here's what it says in the updated version from the Star Banner, which was just updated, like just now. If you have your subscription to the Star Banner on like the e-subscription like I have, then you can read the same thing I'm reading. One student shot another in the ankle Friday morning at Forest High School. The shooter is in custody. The injured student, who suffered a non-life-threatening injury, has been taken to a hospital. Parents should go to, and this is important, parents should go to First Baptist Church at 2801 Southeast Merricamp Road and not to the Forest campus. The students are all being taken to the church by bus. One of the students who is quoted in the story is a Forest High School student. He told his father or mother, I don't know, that the shooting happened near his classroom. According to the student's account, the shooter was standing in the hallway and shot at a closed classroom door. The shooter then dropped his weapon, ran, and tried to hide. Among the parents standing outside the school, another parent of a 16-year-old, also a student. The boy called him, saying that the teacher told them to stay on the ground. Law enforcement is there all over the place. They are busy. Well, that explains why it's hard to get a hold of us, or us hard to get a hold of them. So that's all I have at this point. Let me see if I have anything else on another source here. No, that's all I have right now. So if you're just tuning in, that's the story happening here in Ocala. For those of you who were calling between 9 and 9:30 asking us to talk about this, first of all, the first I heard of this was from one of you. So thank you for letting us know. And from that point on, we were doing nothing but trying to get to the bottom of it to make sure we had the facts. We did not want to go on the air and give you information that was more or less hearsay. It was accurate hearsay, but we didn't know at that time. Okay, so just so you know, that's our protocol here. I've done this for a long time. Robin has done this for a long time. We have learned from our mistakes. When you have a news item that is called in, sometimes for the best intentions of people, sometimes get it wrong. And so we have, as our due diligence is important to us, and that's hopefully why you tune into us, because we're not going to tell you something that we don't have some way of verifying is the true story. All right, I know the nature of listening to the radio because I'm also a radio listener. You may have just gotten in your car. You may have just turned on the radio. You want to know what's going on. Maybe you don't even know there's a shooting. Maybe you're on, what is Forrest, on Mary
Camp Road, yeah.
So maybe you're wondering what's all the traffic about. Well, this is what's going on. I'll just tell you from the beginning. If you've heard me say it already, then you're in on everything, because I don't have anything new. If something pops up new while I'm talking, then I'll let you know. But there was a shooting at Forest High School here in Ocala this morning. Nobody is in a life-threatening situation. The shooter apparently shot at a closed door and hit another student in the ankle. The shooter then dropped the gun and ran to hide, and of course the school went to lockdown, and all the students were told to get on the ground. And the shooter has been arrested. The person who was hit, the student who was hit by a bullet in the ankle, is in the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The students, for the rest of the students in school, are being taken to the First Baptist Church of Ocala. If you are picking up your student, you are being asked, you will be required to present an identification so that the school personnel, the bus driver, knows that you are who you say you are, and that you have a right to pick up the student you say you're picking up. So be sure to have your driver's license. Obviously, if you're driving a car, you should have it anyway.
And that's on Southeast Mary Camp Road, not far from Forest High School, on the opposite side of the street.
Yeah, if you're using your GPS, the address is 2801 Southeast Mary Camp Road. Yeah, very close. Big, beautiful church.
Yeah.
Over there. Beautiful in more than one way, by the way. So I don't have any other information about this. The only thing, I guess, just off the cuff, is how crazy the world is, Robin.
Exactly. I
mean, look at this. We have this other story about this lady who shot somebody who looked like her so she could steal his identification, then came up to Ocala, went to the Hilton, booked herself into the Hilton using that lady's credit card and ID.
Yeah, and the lady did die. She not just shot her, she killed her.
Right, and now this lady, the lady who the killer is was arrested in Texas. So
yeah, thank God for that. We don't have to.
Don't confuse that with the school shooting. It's two different things.
Exactly. And then the Trenton, Florida shooting yesterday with the deputies.
The two deputies in Trenton. Yeah,
absolutely.
So the story of the lady who was in Ocala is making national news. The story from Trenton is making national news, and I've seen one story on the Reuters news agency about this Forest High School shooting already. Wow.
It is just so. It's just so unbelievable, so disgusting.
All right, so let me see if I can get any more information.
Especially that our students have to think that they can solve whatever it is, whatever problem they're going through, by intentionally hurting somebody. Horrible.
Yeah,
horrible.
Yeah, that's part of it too.
That is. Get rid of the bullies.
All right, it's one of those days. So if you're out there, the good news is that nobody died.
Exactly.
That's the good news. The bad news is one of the students was shot in the ankle, and another student has been arrested and will probably face some ultra serious charges.
Good. I'm glad. They should.
So if you are, if you're the parent of either of those two children or friends of them, your prayers are probably what I would be doing anyway. Just to recap, it's not a whole large story, but it's enough information that if you didn't hear it at all, you're probably going to want to know it all. So here it is. One student at Forest High School was shot by another student this morning. The student who was shot was hit in the ankle. The student who did the shooting has been arrested. The parents of the children of the students in Forest High School are being asked to pick up their students at First Baptist Church of Ocala. The school itself is under lockdown. And as you can imagine, it's probably the end of the school days, so for the weekend anyway. So, just crazy world out there, Joe.
It is. It is, but
just we're in the business of entertainment, but we have an obligation to bring news.
Well, that's why we're called News Talk, right? Yeah.
It's just I hate it. I hate that part of it. It's the world we live in.
It's a shame what's going on, and the lack of discipline, lack of respect for each other.
Lack of respect. That's exactly right. That's what it is.
Yeah. So it's.
I mean, think about it. All the stories that you hear like this. The one from Trenton. This lady who was at the Hilton. I mean, now this thing at Forest High School. That's what it is. It's lack of respect. It's lack of. It's. Oh my gosh. It's common sense. It's lack of common sense.
Well, kids will always argue in school. Kids will pick on each other. Kids will have names for each other, in high school and junior high, and they'll have their own cliques and they'll have their own, because they're growing, they're learning. But, because you disagree with somebody, you shoot them? No, that's way off base, way off base. So where does that fall on? Whose responsibility? Who's responsible for it? Truly, it's the one that pulled the trigger. But does it go deeper? Does it go into their upbringing? Does it go into the culture of the whole United States right now? Is it that, or?
Yeah.
Well, this is a deep subject that can go on for hours and debate for hours.
So the Star Banner just refreshed their news, but it doesn't have anything new on it. Let me just go through it again. One student shot another in the ankle this morning at Forest High School. The shooter is in custody. The injured student, a boy. Now we know the gender of the student who was shot.
Oh, that is, yeah.
We didn't know that before. The injured student is a boy. He suffered a non-life-threatening injury, has been taken to a local hospital. Parents are being asked to go to First Baptist Church of Ocala at 2801 Southeast Maricamp Road. Don't go to Forest. Make sure you have your ID.
Yes, definitely.
Students will be transported from the school to the church by bus. The shooter apparently dropped his weapon after shooting, tried to hide, and all the kids were told to get on the floor, and the school was immediately placed into lockdown.
So he dropped the gun.
Yeah, that's what it says.
So he didn't want it. He wanted to live. Because, well, think about it. You drop a gun when the officers come to investigate what happened. If you have a gun in your hand, what's the first thing you're going to do? Drop the gun or get shot?
Yeah, right.
So if you don't have a gun in your hand, there's no dropping. It's already gone,
So we have called the Ocala Police Department and the Marion County Sheriff's Office. In both cases, the public information officer was not available. Probably dealing with this, probably talking.
Well, they have to investigate. Yeah.
We were able to get through to Public Information Officer Kevin Christian with the school system. We have a good, close relationship with Kevin. He did not know the names, by the way, of the two students that are in the story.
Right.
We don't know anything about the students other than the injured is a boy, a student.
Right. So far,
male student. Yeah, we don't know anything else.
So far, but we will. And as soon as we find out, we'll let everybody else we know.
As soon as we know, we'll let you know.
That's the way we work.
Yeah.
It's getting to be an epidemic almost.
It is. Today's the 19th anniversary of the Columbine shooting, which is supposedly why they picked today as a walkout day and a discussion day to talk about. I know. I see your eyes. But.
Yeah, discussion day is fine. Walkout day for what?
Well, I agree. I agree with the implication of your question.
Why walk? Why walk? That's like, it offends me. Well, that's the newest thing out. It offends me.
Yeah, right.
So it's all the same, all same genre. It offends me, so I don't want to do this, or I'm going to walk out. No, I'm sorry, no. Grow up.
If you need to call us for any information, I promise you, we don't have any more than what we're telling you on the radio. So, but if you're more comfortable, if you have some information for us, you're invited to do that.
Make sure we can verify it. Thank you.
622-9622 if you want to be on the air. But otherwise, I've told you everything we know. We've gone to the resources that we have. The good news is that the person who was shot is in the hospital, but not life-threatening. The bullet went into the ankle. Kevin said the foot. The Star Banner says the ankle. I think it probably is the ankle.
Either way, he's going to be limping for the rest of his life.
Maybe, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's a lot of reconstruction they would have to do.
Yeah, really. I mean, you're absolutely right.
For what? We don't even know what caused it.
No, we don't know what caused it, but there should be something in place. How many times we have to say we need metal detectors? I go to the bank and there's a metal detector. I cannot walk into the bank.
How many banks did you go through and you're in a closet and you open the door, green light, close the door behind you, red light, in front of you it's a red light, then it turns green, then you can go into the bank.
Right.
If you have something in your pockets, and they look at you, and if they know you, then they'll press the button and it turns green, you go in. If they want to. If not, you're stuck in that little cubicle.
There's got to be something we can do to make sure that guns cannot get into the hallways. If somebody's shooting from off campus, I suppose that
happened to me when I was in high school. Someone came in and shot a teacher dead from off campus.
Really?
Yeah, from off campus.
Really?
That's going back to the 1969, 1970, whatever it was back then. And he was off campus. They came in.
All right, we'll stay on top of this. We'll do our best to let you know things that are happening as they unfold. I think what the best thing we can do though is to continue with normal programming. So
we'll cut in though if we have to.
We absolutely will cut in. Okay. All right, so let's go to Fox News and then we'll be back and continue normal programming. Keep in mind, though, that we will pop on every time we have anything new regarding this story. And thank you for listening. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Fox News Radio. I'm Lillian Wu. The president seemingly outraged for his former national security advisor tweeting.
So General Michael Flynn's life can be totally destroyed, while shady James Comey can leak and lie and make lots of money from a third-rate book that should never have been written. Is that really the way life in America is supposed to work?
Fox's John Roberts this after the release of 15 pages of Comey's notes from before he was fired as FBI director, which the president says shows there was no collusion. Democrats like House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi calling it proof the president has contempt for the rule of law. And it looks like Prince Charles has a new job.
Sky sources say that Prince Charles will be the next head of the Commonwealth following the Queen.
Samantha Washington with Fox Sister Network Sky News. Commonwealth, an organization of 53 member states, mostly former territories of the British Empire. Fox News, we report, you decide.
This is Jack from Banyan Hill. You like freedom? I do. You like money? I do too. If you like freedom and money, then you're gonna love Freedom Checks. You see, over the next few months, an estimated $34.6 billion is up for grabs to anyone who stakes their claim. Yep, you heard right. $34.6 billion. To get all the details, just go to www.freedomchecks225.com. Thousands of people are already lined up to cash in. Take Doug, for example. He's a 46-year-old from Joplin, Missouri, who's set to get a check for $24,075. And if Doug can do this, I've got a hunch that you can too. But here's the thing. If you want a chance to grab your full share of this $34.6 billion payout, you must have your ducks in a row by May 1st. So don't wait. Get over to www.freedomchecks225.com before the May 1st deadline. That's www.freedomchecks225.com.
Tired of looking at stained carpets, dirty tile, or grout? Call Silverback Restoration, 414-5312. Make your flooring look great again. Stains, pet odors, allergies. Call Silverback Restoration, 414-5312. From serving our country to serving our community. Silverback Restoration, 414-5312. Residential and commercial. Their work is guaranteed along with your satisfaction. Check their website, silverbackrestoration.com. Shamrock Security Systems, 629-3223. Shamrock Security Systems is located here in Ocala, Florida. Shamrock Security